I do want to talk about something though. Might as well jump out the gate with this. Our record against the top teams in the NBA. Pretty horseshit.
Would it be 0-7?
Yep.
0-6?
7.
1-7.
Is that against the top 3 teams? Boston, Cleveland, OKC?
Yep.
For a team to see that stat and to recognize it, I think it could be taken 2 ways. It can be extremely beneficial because it could put you in a position of being humbled and realizing like we're, we have a lot of room to go, if we want to compete with these guys and this team. Or, it could, kind of break teams and you think like, oh, we're not as good as these people or these teams. I think with the mentality that we have and the character of the team that we have, I think it would be the first one. I think it would be more of a humbling statistic for us and shows us that, we have good players and we have, great talent, but we got to go out there and we got to put forth the effort every game and every possession and not concede easy baskets or, start the game off slow or anything like that. We got to start pushing ourselves to the limit on both ends of the court, which is why I'm not really panicking with that stat, because I think it will open our eyes to realizing we have to, get to another level individually and as a team, obviously. But I think we'll do that.
I had a lot to say, but I think the main focus that we should have is obviously use that to kind of push ourselves. But it like sucks because like first time we played Cleveland at the Garden, we're up like 13 or 14, lost. Played OKC at OKC. We were up double digits something and lost. So like we've shown that we've competed, right? Boston, we cut it to 4 last time, whatever, and obviously shit the rest of the game. But like I see where we have opportunities to where we can like be aggressive and pounce on it and win. But the frustrating part about all this is that like we have what it takes. We have the personnel. Like we have everything we need in that locker room, right? We just got to put it together. But yeah, like X's and O's and all that stuff. Like that's easy. That's an easy fix. But like the amount of times we've been like embarrassed on national television, I mean that should ring a bell. Like that should be like a wake up call in itself. And not just for those games, just like for the rest of the season. Like we gotta wake the hell up.
Like for me, like obviously I can't speak for anybody, but but myself. But like for me, I didn't play the Cleveland game, and I didn't travel with the team. So I'm at the house watching it, and I'm like,
did you watch the whole game?
I turned it off after the third quarter.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it, but it was like, okay, and obviously that was that was a bad loss, but out those 7, that's just 1. So I was out there for the other 6. So now I'm looking at it from this side, looking at how it looks on national TV, getting smacked by 30, and how embarrassing it looks. And I'm sitting there like, I don't want to go out there and miss an assignment on any possession. I don't want to go out there and feel like I'm not playing hard on any possession, because that's what it looks like. And I'm embarrassed, being a part of it. So, obviously I don't want anyone to be hurt and watching, those games on national TV, but, I think everyone should at least watch that game and see how it looks. Because like whatever else aside, like, it was embarrassing. And that's not who we are as a team. Starts from, everyone starts from top with Dolan, Leon, Tibbs, us. Like that's not who we are. So we're not going to settle for that being the product that we put on the court.
I'll say this: it's okay. It's not okay, but it is who we are right now. It's who we show. But I mean, we have an opportunity to fix it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that's not who we are, It's not who we want to be. It's what we showed the other night. But I've always said this: every time you step on the court, is a chance to see where you are, regardless of who you play. Right? And that just shows where we are. We're not ready, but we have a long way to go to be ready. It's not playoffs yet. Like, we're still in a good position where we can get better, right? And be ready by the time playoffs start, or be ready by the next time, our next game. But yeah, we got a long way to go. But I'm okay. I'm okay with that because it'll make it that much better when we're able to get over the hump and like start playing well against those teams and show what we can do. So I mean, just part of the process.
I feel like for you in particular, one thing you rarely see is people having any issue with how you handle yourself in like a post-game conference. But you made a comment after the Boston game that I think had Nick's Twitter riled up. I don't know if you saw that, but it was basically you were saying like, we're not worried about closing the gap on Boston. We're worried about getting better as a team. And I feel like people maybe read that the wrong way, but like, I guess talk a little bit more about that and what you're trying to get across.
I don't focus on any other team or any other player except for the one that's in the locker room. If you're not wearing Knicks on your jersey, I don't care.
There's no Knicks on the jersey. It just says New York.
If you don't have New York on your jersey, I don't care. I don't care what the Boston Celtics are doing. I don't care what the Cavs are doing. I don't care what the OKC is doing. Like, I'm not sitting there like, oh, we have to beat these guys. Like, I want to be where they are. No, I want us to be the best team we can be. And that team can compete with those guys 100%. But I'm not obsessed with the fascination of we have to close the gap on the Boston Celtics. Like,
let me play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, but you're also the same person who said everyone's chasing Boston. Did you not?
I did say that. I think everyone's chasing Boston in terms of they just want to chip, right? But I'll sit there and say this. Say you're so fascinated, because I'll say, if you're so fascinated on one opponent, and that's the goal, we want to beat the Boston Celtics. We want to close the gap on the Boston Celtics and all that. Say right now, how the seeding are, if the playoffs started today, if we win the first round, they win the first round, we would play down. We would be in a collision course to play down. If we're so fascinated with the sense of beating Boston and we beat Boston in the playoffs, there's room for complacency. There's room for, oh, this was our goal. We succeeded in this goal. And then there's room for failure. There's room for a fall off. If you're sitting there like, I want to make sure we're the best team we can be. I'm the best player I can be at the end of the year. This team's the best team we can be at the end of the year. I don't know what that is. But I know if that's the goal, and I know this team can compete with those teams, then the goal is a finals. But I'm not going to sit there and be so obsessed with playing one team or competing against one team, because if you do that, you have so much enjoyment in winning that it's room. I'm not saying you will, but it's room for complacency. And I think if you don't leave yourself room for complacency, you won't have it. And you'll just continue to strive. So that's why I'm sitting here saying, I don't want to close the gap on the Boston Celtics. I want us to figure our identity out, figure our vibe out, so we can compete at the highest level we can. So if people don't like that, they have their own thoughts. They're not me. I have my own decision. If anyone see how I play, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Me, I play as hard as anybody does. Once we lace up the shoes. So if they don't like that answer, that's up to us.
You mentioned obviously you have the personnel in the locker room. I think that's probably, if I had to put myself in the shoes of Nick's Twitter, I think that's probably why people are so upset is because of the personnel, right? Because you mentioned, I think on a prior episode, the season's all about finding, losing it, and then finding it at the right time. Obviously, at this moment in time, one could argue that you guys lost it for a sec, but I think it's because of how good the personnel is and the fact that you guys made all the right moves, the fact that you have all the pieces that I think when come together right, it's a championship team. And I think it's really just about hopefully hitting that stride at the right time.
Yeah, it's every season for every team is a roller coaster. You're gonna have peaks and you're gonna have valleys. It's like, how do you get better from both of them? How do you continue when you're hitting a peak? Like, how do you continue to stay up there? When you rally, how do you quickly get back up? Like, it's a very long season with a lot of emotion, a lot of talk, a lot of communication, a lot of trying to figure out what's the best way for us to be successful. Even the best teams every team struggles with something. Every team, right? But so it's not like we're the team like, all right, like we're the only team with problems in the league. No, every team has a problem, has some type of problem in the league. But we just gotta figure out how can we maximize our potential. That's the biggest question mark about us. One of the biggest question marks about us.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think we talked about like this is like the first year where like people are putting like, you know, real expectations and those kind of things. And for us, as long as we don't listen to it or pay attention, I think that helps.
The Roommate Show is now sponsored by DoorDash.
DoorDash has a Dash Pass members-only deal for the 24-25 NBA season. They swoosh, you save. When any player scores 50 or more points in a game, Dash Pass members save 50% on an order, up to $10 off. Who's going to make this happen for our first Dash Pass members? Jalen or Josh?
Well, Jalen does have a few 50-point games in his career already.
What about rebounds? That's got to count for something, Josh.
Sign up for Dash Pass and save more all year round with $0 delivery fees and reduced service fees on eligible orders. Plus, exclusive perks like this one. I know we all love the $0 delivery fees, especially our fellow New Yorkers always getting delivery.
Guilty. Since moving to the city, I definitely catch myself ordering more.
Use the promo code NBA50 the next day after a 50-point game during the 2024-25 NBA regular season from noon to midnight. That's right, from noon to midnight.
Valid for Dash Pass members only from noon to midnight the day after any player scores 50 or more in a single game during the 24-25 regular season. Valid with use of promo code from noon to midnight the day after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Sign up, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and so much more. Whenever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.